What's good, y'all? It's your boy BioSpider 3.0, keeping the action going with the Power Rangers in Space Lightning Collection Black Ranger. What is going on, man? We are back with another Power Ranger review, jumping away from some 6 scale figures, diving into some 1/12 scale again, as we are used to seeing on the channel. So it's been a little minute since we've done a Lightning Collection review, so I did pick this guy up probably, it's been at least a couple months I've had him just sitting in the box waiting for reviews. So we are finally getting to him. And for those of you that don't know, I think I mentioned it in like a previous video, but for those that don't know, I have been on a Power Rangers marathon. So I've basically been watching, all the Rangers series in order from Mighty Morphin on. And as of right now, I'm actually on Wild Force, which is the last, season of the early Saban era. And then after that, Power Rangers was owned by Disney. So that's when we get into like Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, SPD, and all those guys. So I'm really excited. Like I said, almost done. Well, I mean, I just started Wild Force the other day. I think I'm on like episode 9 right now, but I did actually finish Time Force this past weekend, and Time Force was like a really, one of my favorite seasons. I remember as a kid watching Time Force, back when video stores were a thing. I would go to the video store and rent Time Force, and I remember, the Quantum Ranger just being like one of the craziest things to me. And that was like the first time seeing 2 Red Rangers simultaneously, and it was such a like weird thing, but it was also like awesome at the same time. And the Quantum Ranger obviously did his thing on that show. Really dope Ranger. Even though he had his faults, definitely wasn't perfect, but Ranger mode, he was really really cool. But anyways, here we got our boy Carlos from In Space. So looking real good in the box. We got the nice alternate head here. Got the Ranger obviously front and center. We got some effects pieces, some alternate hands, and his weapon, which you can't really see. It's kind of hidden back here behind the artwork, but he's got his Lunar Q in the box as well. You can see ages 4 and up, so pretty self-explanatory there. Power Rangers Lightning Collection In Space Black Ranger. We've got our Hasbro logo in the corner. Coming to the side of the box, we've got the artwork again. Coming around to the back, we've got some, a nice, pretty decent posing shot, of the figure. I like that. I think it's pretty cool. Holding his staff, and you can see he's got the effects piece on the end of it there, looking very nice. All this, attention stuff, very small writing that we're not going to worry about. On this side, we've got the artwork continued from the front. Power Rangers In Space at the top there, looking very, very cool. At the top of the box, just, straight black. At the bottom, again, more legalese and all that stuff, barcodes. So there is that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and crack this guy open and see what he's all about. So yeah, there may be some possible spoilers in this review, just to let you know, as the title of the video will suggest. So just be aware of that. Hopefully I'm not spoiling anything for you guys that haven't seen In Space yet, but I will just say right off that it is a really good season. One of my favorites for sure. I do remember kind of seeing glimpses of it when I was a kid, but I definitely never like watched it consistently, so I didn't really know the full story. So, kind of seeing some things unfold, especially after Turbo, because In Space follows up from Turbo. And, just seeing how things played out in the end was quite a treat. So it's nice to kind of have like the full picture now that I've started from the beginning. And, got to see all the cast and like new characters come in, old characters leave or stay. A lot of them actually did stay for a while, for several seasons, so that is really cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and bust Mr. Carlos out of here, out of his containment. And I really do like, I think the In Space suits are pretty cool, but for some reason the black, man, I really like Carlos's suit. I think the black just has such a nice contrast with the rest of the suit that just like I saw this thing on Reddit that was saying like it's really hard for them to make a bad black suit for for a Power Ranger. And honestly, I agree. I feel like none of the Black Suit Power Rangers have a bad design. I haven't seen one yet. So the In Space, I think, his suit, I think is a really cool, very nice looking design. Get him up on out of here. There we go. Get his weapons out. The Lunar Q. And I wish I could thank the seller who gave me this, who provided this figure for me. I got it off of Mercari. And I don't think I actually sent a message to him, which I usually do. I guess I was slipping this time. And I forgot to send a message to the seller asking if I could shout them out in the review. So I was looking through Mercari, trying to go through my messages, and nothing came up. And then I tried to go to my purchases to see if I could find the seller again. And it's not really showing any record that I bought this guy. So yeah, unfortunately I can't give the seller a shout out, but to you, sir, thank you very much for providing this figure. You know who you are. If I can find you, I will definitely give you a shout out in the description. But very much appreciate you for providing this figure for me. It's going to make a great addition to the collection, indeed. Alright, so here we have, out of the box, our In Space Black Ranger, aka Mr. Carlos Vallerte. Is that how you say his last name? I don't know how you say his last name. It's Vallerte. I'm thinking of Vallerte or Vallerte. I'm not sure. I'm sure it's got like a Spanish pronunciation to it, but anyways, here is Mr. Carlos, looking very dope out of the box. Really like the black color that Hasbro chose to go with for the outfit. I like that it's like a really dark, basically like midnight, like jet black. It's like there's no question whether it's like a black color or not, or how light it is. It's like a pretty solid black color, so I like that a lot. Especially being that Carlos is like the In Space Ranger, I feel like his suit kind of represents like the darkness of space, the void of space. Like you think of like just straight blackness, no light. So that's really cool. And that also like gives great contrast to the symbols on his chest, the classic In Space. You got the colored squares across the chest, which is really cool. And yeah, everything like design wise, aesthetic wise, he looks really good. So I am gonna do a clean figurine scale on this guy. I was thinking I was just gonna, give you guys the score in the description, but I decided, you know what, let's do it in the review again. Let's bring the clean figurine scale back. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna try to do it, briefly today. Don't want to spend too much time on it. So starting off with the aesthetic, I gotta say, front to back, he seems. He looks pretty good, so this is not really the accuracy rating yet. Remember, we've got the 4 A's in the clean figurine scale. We've got aesthetic, articulation, accessories, and accuracy. So we're going to be looking at all of those. But just from an aesthetic standpoint, just like how he looks out of the box, so far so good, man. Really nice aesthetic. I see a little bit of paint imperfections, and we'll get into that. But overall, his aesthetic looks pretty nice. So I'm going to give him, just, off the bat, I'm going to give him an aesthetic score of, I'm going to give him, I'm taking into account, the paint imperfections. So as of right now, I'm going to give him like a solid 8.5 out of 10. Because I did notice a few things that weren't great. But that being said, he does overall still look very solid. So I'm gonna give him an 8.5 out of 10 for the aesthetic. All right. So there we have that. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and get him on the rotating display base so we can get that out of the way, so you guys can get a full 360 look of this guy. All right, in all of his glory. Move a little bit closer here. There we go. All right, let's get some rotation going. All righty, And there is our man Carlos on the turntable, so you can get a nice full 360 view of the figure. And like I said, front to back, he looks pretty nice, man. I think they did a pretty solid job actually, um, as far as like the paint and the aesthetic for these in space figures. I mean, this is the first one I have, obviously, but you know, so far, pretty impressed. You know, not bad at all. I really like what they've done here. So yeah, there it is, our 360 look. We'll go ahead and stop him here. All right. Thank you, turntable. Move you out the way. All right, so the next, you know, category we'll get into for the clean figurine scale for this guy, we will look at his accessories. Let's get those out the way. So he doesn't come with too much, but you know, he's a ranger, so he comes with what's necessary. So we've got his signature weapon, which is the Lunar Q up first, which looks very nice, done in a nice matte black color for the, you know, for the plastic. Looks very nice. Nice metallic silver for like the little rivets right here and here. And then of course on the end, as well as the, you know, the top of the staff. Got that nice kind of crescent moon shaped, you know, ending to it. Very nice, and metallic silver. Looks very good. It's got a nice length to it too. Very, you know, nice long range weapon. So very nice that he can wield that. So we've got the Lunar Q. We've got his effects piece, which is this kind of like fuchsia or, you know, magenta, you know, swoosh kind of effect. It's made of a soft plastic, so it is pretty pliable. It does kind of like stretch out. And again, you can basically, there's actually like a little hole I just saw right here. There's like a little bit of an opening right there, and you can kind of slip that over the end of his, you know, Lunar Q, and have him look like he's, you know, swiping or striking with like energy on his Q, powering up his Lunar Q. So that's really cool. But yeah, I really like the color of this and the overall plastic quality. You know, it's very nice. The sculpt of it, you know, it's like kind of textured. It's got like kind of like dips in it, like a wave or whatever, and it feels like, you know, soft and everything. But very cool looking effects piece. I really like this. That's one of the dopest things about the Lightning collection, is that we get really cool effects pieces like this. Really makes the display, you know, dynamic and stand out on the shelf. So that's really nice. So we've got that. We have his blaster. I forget the name of this off top. But yeah, I forget the name of the blaster. I'll have it in the description. But we do have his, we'll just call it the Space Blaster right now. I know that's not the name, but we'll just call it that for the time being. And it is pretty decently detailed, you know, not too bad. We do get at least multiple colors in there. We've got like I want to say it's just molded in blue plastic, but we do get a little bit of paint added in there. We've got that gold piece, got the kind of dark red strip down here towards the bottom, and then we have the, you know, the silver, you know, for like the front, and the, you know, this part kind of arching up here at the top. So that's nice. You know, we do get at least a little bit of paint work in there. Not too shabby, and some nice detail sculpted as well. So yeah, we've got the blaster. Pretty small. It does seem like smaller than the Dino Thunder ones. I wonder if that's accurate or not. It's kind of got like a similar design and shape, but it does seem a little bit smaller than the you know, the Thundermax blasters. So that's just something to note. And then of course we have his alternate hands. So we've got this one, which is kind of like a open, semi-open, maybe gesturing hand. So like he's kind of curling in two fingers. Other two he's kind of got up, but you know, beginning to curl in, and then yeah, you know, done in a nice white color. Very nice. Get some good light on that. Hopefully you can see the details of the lines of the glove sculpted on top by the knuckles. Trying to get some good light on it. Okay, yeah, there you go. Hopefully you guys can see that detail in there. That's pretty nicely done. Nice sculpt, nice, you know, white color. So we've got that. And then we have another fist hand for him. So we get this nice sculpted fist for very cool. It looks like it's for his left hand, so that's really cool. Nice detail again, sculpted into the glove, all the lines and everything. Looks pretty sharp, so there you go. Very nice. And then last but not least, we have, of course, the Carlos head sculpt, which I will say I think is actually one of the better ones in the Lightning collection. I really like how this head sculpt came out. Actually looks, I think, pretty close to the actor. I forget his name, his real name, but I would say it does look a lot like Carlos. They gave him the ponytail look, and I know a lot of people have complained that they prefer the the hair down, this like straight hair down look for Carlos. But me personally, I don't mind. I actually kind of like the fact that they gave him the ponytail look, because you got so many characters that always have like their hair down. So it's kind of nice to get like a different look for Carlos, in my opinion. And he did have his hair in a ponytail through a good portion of the show. So I do like that they actually gave him the ponytail look. But yeah, I really do think this is one of the better done head sculpts. I like how this one came out a lot. I think he looks pretty fresh with the ponytail, and like the sculpt of the hair looks very nice. It's like all one solid, dark brown color, but it is done very nicely. You can see there's actually like sculpt in there, to look like his hair is kind of like slicked back or whatever. But yeah, you can see like the individual hair strands sculpted. It looks really, really nice. It doesn't really need any shading or anything, but it's got a nice sculpt and a nice paint application, so it actually looks really good. The face itself, a little bit shiny, but not too much, Overall, like I do like how the skin tone came out. I think it looks pretty good. It's not overly shiny to where it looks, on camera it kind of does make him look like he's got like that sweaty look going, but in person it's really not that bad. It actually has like a much more matte look in person. But yeah, I really do like how this came out. I think this looks really solid. All the paint for his face looks really good, and I even like how like this little bit of like separation in the hair up here, like how you can see like the little individual strands at the center of his head, his forehead. That looks really good, very realistic. So yeah, I like this head sculpt a lot. I think this is like definitely one of Hasbro's most solid. So there you go. So for the accessories, I think that's a pretty solid spread of accessories. I'm trying to think if he had like any other major weapons that he used. I don't really remember any, honestly, besides the Lunar Q and the blaster. So, and yeah, I think that's a pretty solid spread of accessories. Maybe like a few more alternate hands, maybe I would have given him. So, as far as the accessories rating, I'm gonna give him a nice solid 9 out of 10. I think that's pretty good. Really don't think there's much more they would have needed to include, especially given the $25 price point. I think this is a decent spread, so we'll give him 9 out of 10 for the accessories. Let's see. All right, let's look at play and display. Let's get into some articulation for this guy. So he should have the standard Lightning Collection articulation, but in case we need to see it again, this is a review, so we are going to go through it. All right, so starting off with the head. His head is on a ball peg, so he's able to look up about that far, which I think is pretty good. Here's your front and then side view. I think that's a pretty decent look up. He looks very nicely far, going up and then looking down. Pretty nice as well. He can tuck the chin pretty much into the chest, so he's got a pretty decent look down. That's very nice. Coming back front and center, we've got obviously swivel side to side, being on the ball peg. As a matter of fact, it should be able to go 360. Yep, sure does. As far as any leaning, we get just the slightest bit of leaning. Kind of feels like there's like a pretty large ball peg. That's usually what Hasbro uses for the Lightning Collection figures. So kind of a large ball peg, so he's not going to get too much wiggle room side to side, but he does get a little bit. He can get a little bit of expressive attitude posing in there, side to side tilt. So yeah, we do get that, so that's good. Let's see, as far as the arms go, we are on a ball and hinge, so he can raise his arms up about, kind of got scared I was bending the plastic right there, but he should be able to get all the way out to the sides and basically a straight line. Okay, or maybe actually a little better. This arm seemed to go up a lot easier. Maybe this one got frozen or something. Let's see. Or maybe I just got to rearrange the hinge. But let's see. Yeah, let me turn the hinge on this one a little bit. See if it'll go up more now. Seems like the left doesn't want to go up quite as much as the right does. Maybe I can loosen that up over time. I might have to like apply a little bit of like shock oil or something to loosen that joint. But yeah, it seems like, you know, he's able to get better than 90, at least on the right side, as far as raising his arm up. So that's actually really good. Some nice range there. He can definitely, at the very least, he can hit a T-pose. So that's nice. All right. And then coming back down to the sides. Yeah, his left arm is definitely more stiff than the right for some reason. So I'll have to loosen up that left side a little bit. But yeah, he can, let's see, he can 360, windmill the arm all the way around on that ball joint. Very nice. Again, this side is a pretty tight, it's got like a tightness to it. He does have a bicep swivel built in, so that looks really, really good. Should we get that focus? Nice bicep swivel cut in there. We've got double jointed elbows that allow a really nice bend. So that looks pretty good. Very, very nice, better than 90 degrees. Comes back out. No, what do you call it? No forearm swivel, but we do have a swivel and hinge at the wrist. So the hands can rotate, you know, 360. And then they do hinge. Let's see. It's a vertical hinge, I believe. Let's see. Yeah. This is going to be a vertical hinge. So it's going to hinge towards the body and away from the body. You know, kind of like side to side type of movement. Not really meant for the vertical. So, yeah. Which is a little unfortunate because, you know, with a weapon like this or like a figure like this that wields, you know, a staff or like a sword or something like that, it's always good to have like a vertical hinge, but you know, because you get a lot more range, natural range out of that, and you can hit better poses typically with that. But you know, we'll take the horizontal hinge, not too bad. Let's see, for the torso articulation, we've got a diaphragm cut right there at the top, so that allows him to crunch about that much forward on its own, and then about that much backwards. And it still looks pretty good from the front, doesn't get gappy or anything, so that's nice. Nice rounded off sculpt there, so that still looks really good. And then if we use the bottom ab crunch joint, we have a cut for an ab crunch towards the waist. So if we combine both of those joints, he can now bend over that much, which is a lot farther. So that's really good. And then bending back using that ab crunch joint, we can get him bending all the way back like that, like he's doing the limbo. Limbo, limbo, limbo. So very, very nice. I like that a lot. That looks good. Bring him back up. So you can get some really good range when you combine both of those joints. And then as far as like leaning, if we use that diaphragm joint, he can lean side to side pretty well. Pretty decent, you know. Get some good leaning side to each side, so that's nice. Kind of swivel a little bit. You know, get some wiggle on the ball peg. And then he does have rotation at the top with that diaphragm joint as well. So you can rotate side to side. So that's really good. Like that. I do really like, you know, overall the setup that Hasbro uses for the torso articulation for the Lightning Collection Rangers. I really do like it a lot. You are able to get some pretty cool dynamic poses out of these guys. So got to give, you know, Hasbro their props where they deserve it. Their props. But anyways, kicking up with the legs. We can get him to kick about that much forward. He does kind of have like, you know, thicker thighs, so he's only able to get maybe a little shy of a 90. Doesn't look like it's going quite to a 90, but again, not bad. Coming backwards, again, it's going to be limited because of the sculpt. So he's only going to get about that much going back. We do have a thigh swivel cut. So he does have thigh rotation in there, which is nice. Pretty nice line. Not too noticeable too, especially being like him being the Black Ranger. you know, that line doesn't stick out too much, so that's nice. We've got double joints in the knees, so we can bend all the way back, basically touch, kick his ass or like his lower back, so that's nice. Comes back down. Pretty tight knee joints there too. Kind of has the joints on this guy kind of have like a clay feel to them, so you know, just be mindful of that. You don't want to stress the joints out too much. You definitely don't want to force it and like break or stress the plastic, but you know, as you keep playing with it, you should be able to like loosen it up over time, and it shouldn't feel quite as stiff. You might have to apply like heat or something like that, but yeah, like overall, like his joints do feel pretty nice, you know, nice and solid and sturdy, so that's nice. I would definitely rather have a tight joint than a loose one, so that is nice. Let's see, boot rotation. Yeah, he does actually have boot cut, so the boots do rotate individually, so that's nice. And then as far as the foot itself, it is on a hinge, so you can hinge the foot down, all the way down like that. On the tippy toes, you can hinge it up about that far. So you guys get a better view of that. You see that hinges up about that far before it hits the boot. And then as far as rocker and rotation, he does get a nice ankle rocker swivel in there on the hinge. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It doesn't, the foot itself doesn't rotate side to side, but again, you do have that boot cut, so you can rotate the entire boot. And if you want to, you know, swivel the foot side to side, so there is that. And let's see, out to the side, can you get the splits? Doesn't look like it. And, you know, I kind of predicted that based on the sculpt. Yeah, he's actually, wow, he's kind of limited, honestly. I mean, he gets a decent amount out to the side, but definitely nowhere near splits. And again, I think that's because of the sculpt. He's a little bit thicker in the waist and the, you know, the upper thighs, so he's not going to really be able to get out too far to the side. But again, not bad at all. You know, he's not like a ninja or a samurai or anything, so he's doesn't have to be the most flexible character. But yeah, there you have it, man. Oh yeah, and then one thing I forgot to mention as far as the arms go, he does also have a butterfly joint, that nice butterfly joint that our Lightning Collection figures have. So he's able to swing the arm forward pretty nicely as far as like going across the body. You know, it's not the best butterfly joint as far as like, you know, getting it across, like getting those, you know, across the body poses, but he can get at least a decent amount, you know, that much. And then if you've been in the elbows, you know, that can look pretty cool when you've got like the staff or something in his hand. And then as far as moving back, it definitely moves better going backwards. So you can see that he's able to swing his arm back all the way back there past his head, so that's nice. Pretty nice, pretty decent butterfly joint. It is gonna look a little funny, you know, once you push it all the way back, because you've got this inner cap piece that kind of sticks out from the you know, the shoulder and from the chest, so it's gonna look a little bit awkward, but you can probably overlook that, honestly, for him getting the range. And they did at least kind of paint the inside of that cap so that it's you know, got some continuity with the white stripe design, so that's nice. Even though it does look like it's definitely like a darker shade, because it looks like they painted over the black of the cap, so it's definitely a darker shade than the rest of the white that, you know, makes up the stripe going across his chest. So, you know, just be aware of that. It's a little bit darker right here. Doesn't quite match, but again, not bad at all. But yeah, that's pretty standard for the Lightning Collection articulation. So I do really like that spread. And man, this left arm is fighting me. I'm trying to push it back down. Okay, there we go. This left side was a little bit tougher than the right, so I'm definitely gonna have to mess around with him. But yeah, that is a very, very nice spread of articulation, what we would expect out of Lightning Collection. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it, I would have liked to see, again, you know, as usual with these Lightning Collection figures, I would have liked to see a little bit more range out of the legs, especially like kind of like the splits. I know how they designed the sculpt and everything, and it does look good. you know, it's nice and uniform. And I understand that they probably would have had to sacrifice a bit of the sculpt in order to pull that off, but I still would like to see just a little bit better range out of the legs. So for articulation, I'm going to go ahead and give him a 9 out of 10. I think he deserves a good 9 out of 10 for sure. And I realized, wow, I've been a little bit off on my bar graph drawing so far, but there we go. I know where it's supposed to be at. So there, 9 out of 10 for articulation. Play and display. All right. So let's try posability real quick. So let's just try to get him into a nice, you know, simple but somewhat dynamic pose. Something that's gonna make him look, you know, kind of cool on the shelf. So I'm gonna try to put the lunar Q into one of his hands. Now, one gripe I do have as I'm messing with him right now is that the hands seem to be made from a pretty hard plastic, so they are kind of hard to separate the fingers when you're trying to get the staff into his hand. It's going to be a little bit difficult. You might have to fight with it, unfortunately. So yeah, I think they definitely should have made the hands out of a softer plastic, because yeah, this is a very hard, not easy to move plastic that they use for the hands here. All right, but let's see. Okay, there we go. I was able to force the lunar Q kind of in between. I got it in his hand, but now I'm trying to slip it underneath the actual fingers, which is a challenge because they are sculpted in so tightly. I'm just gonna leave it like that. It'll take a while to get it actually under all of his fingers, but that doesn't look too bad as it is. I'll go ahead and put his blaster in his holster so you guys can see that. Ooh, I actually really do like how his blaster fits in the holster. That is actually a nice snug fit. I'll say it fits a lot better actually than the Dino Thunder ones do. They seem to have, you know, the molding for the holster itself seems to be a lot more suitable and conform to the blaster that this guy has compared to the Dino Thunder ones. I think those blasters were either too big or the holster was too small, because they always sit a little awkward for those Dino Thunder figures. But here is Carlos with the lunar Q in his hand, so I'm going to try to quickly get a you know, a nice cool pose or something like that. See him do. All right, so let's see if I can get him balanced here, doing something kind of neat.
We're calling on all late night coders, early morning learners, self-proclaimed space geeks, stargazing science junkies, and especially
Okay.
groundhole type thinkers to shape the only force created for the 21st century.
Okay, so here's something, you know, again, very simple, but somewhat dynamic. So we've got Carlos right here with the lunar Q, getting ready to, you know, jab somebody. Looks like he's about to do a javelin throw or something, but yeah, I like that. I actually like how this looks a lot. Nice posability. He should be able to, again, hit some pretty dynamic poses on the shelf, so that is pretty nice. And you can see he's able to stand pretty well balanced. So there you go. So for posability, I know that's just one pose, but you know, I'm gonna kind of, you know, keep going through this so we don't drag it out. Posability, I'll go ahead and give him a nice, I think I'm gonna give him like a, because I can tell, you know, after working with Lightning Collection figures, I can tell that I'll be able to get him into some pretty good poses. So heck, I'll give him a 9 out of 10 for posability. All right, so he's got a 9 out of 10 there. Capability, we don't, you know, we X'd out. We're gonna disregard that because obviously he doesn't have a cape. Price point at about $25. Again, is that a little bit expensive for figures like this? Maybe so, but you know, it is what it is at this point. We're pretty used to the $25 price point for these, so I'll say it's like a for 25 bucks. I'll give it like an 8. I'll give it a nice 8 out of 10 for the price point. And then accuracy. Well, let's pull up a quick picture of Carlos here from In Space. So here we have the In Space costume. In case you guys wanted to see that. Alright, so getting a good look here at our boy in his full uniform. Yeah, I would say honestly they pretty much nailed it as far as the design goes. They definitely, right off the top, they definitely didn't get the black trim of the boots, which, you know, they tend to do for most of the Lightning Collection figures, so that's not a big surprise. But as far as the overall look, yeah, I'd say they pretty much nailed it. The black looks really good. You know, I like the overall colors on him. I think they match pretty well. You know, this is like a, you know, promo or, you know, like an art piece or whatever that I found online, obviously. But I would say it looks like the gold on the belt for him, a little more gold than what's seen in this picture. This one looks a little more brown, and I'm thinking this one is more accurate, but this one does look really nice. It is a nice gold, but it might not be the most show accurate, but at least, you know, they got like the V sculpted in there. That's very nice. I also feel like his belt is a little bit off center on mine, but it seems like this does kind of move. So I think the belt, yeah, is kind of like a floaty piece or something. So I think it does move a little bit. So I can probably just recenter that. But yeah, I mean, overall, you know, the yellow collar seems to be pretty what it's supposed to be. The helmet does look really nice. He does have a little bit of paint imperfections, or at least kind of like just like a slight bit of slop up here by his helmet. You can see like where the white lines at the bottom here, they're like slightly misaligned. One line is kind of going a little bit higher than the other. And then this side also looks like maybe it could use like another coat of paint. The white is kind of, you know, there's like a lot of black kind of peeking through on one side. Hopefully you guys are able to make that out. Trying to get some focus on him. Come on, get that focus back. Okay, let me move my computer out the way, maybe that'll help. But yeah, you guys get the picture now as far as what he looks like from the show. So yeah, bringing the helmet back in, you can see right there, yeah, just a little bit sloppy right there on the helmet. You know, the line work at the top looks a little bit fuzzy as well, but, you know, again, not too bad. He does have a little bit of black peeking through on his shoulders on this side. A little bit sloppy there. Same thing with the other shoulder. A little bit of black kind of peeking through. Maybe another coat of white would have helped. And then as far as like from the back, not too bad. They probably could have covered this up a little bit better. But yeah, I think just like in certain places, the white maybe could have used like one extra coat to make it look a little bit better. But I mean, overall, still very, very nice. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give the accuracy rating as far as like being accurate to the source material. I think it deserves a solid 9 out of 10. Seems like they nailed most of the details here. So there you go. We've got our full rating. So we've got a 9, a 9, a 9, a 9, a 8.5, and an 8. So let's see, that is going to give us a total of, let's see, we've got, let's see, that's 36, and then 8 and 8.5. Let's see, that is going to be a grand total of, oh, sorry, my bad. $52.5. So 52.5 out of, let's see, we got 6 categories, so 52.5 out of 60. So that's pretty good. So percentage wise, that is That is at 87.5. So he's got a nice B plus for his overall rating on the clean figurine scale. All right. So not bad. Very, very good. Pretty, like I said, pretty solid figure. He did quite well as far as the scale goes. So do I recommend the figure? Absolutely. But with all that being said, now that the score is out of the way and we've seen all of his main points, let's go ahead and get into some size comparisons so we can close out. So let me go ahead and back out here a little bit, zoom out. There you go. All right, so there's our man Carlos. So let's go ahead and finish it off with size comparisons. First up for some, oh, there he goes falling. For some 5.5 inch scale figures. Fix his feet here a little bit. He's a little bit lopsided, but okay, let me fix this a little better. Okay, there we go. For some 5.5 inch scale figures, we've got the Ninja Flash Yellow Ranger from Ninja Storm, and then we've got SH Figuarts Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin. Back this up a little bit more so we can get him in the shot. There we go. And you can see they scale pretty well with him, you know. Yeah, like they're about like a ½ inch shorter, like they should be, you know, 6 inch scale, 5.5 inch. So they scale pretty well. Obviously, Carlos is the tallest out of the three, but again, not bad. I think you can definitely squeeze them in, kind of fudge them in as far as scale goes. Next up, we have our Odious, the Living Curse, 1/12 scale figure, standing next to him on that side. And then for another Lightning collection, we have the Lunar Wolf Ranger right here. So there is our Wild Forest Lunar Wolf Ranger next to him, and I think those two scale pretty well. Lunar Wolf is just about the same size, maybe a slight bit taller, and Odious is definitely a little bit bigger than both of them. So there you go. All right, so moving that out the way. For our NECA comparison, we have the Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or sorry, I keep saying Valhalla, Brotherhood Ezio. And then for Mafex, we have our in-game Thor. And you can see both of them are definitely bigger, so they scale appropriately. They definitely should be bigger than him. So you have that. For Marvel Legends, we've got a Luke Cage. And for Black Series, we have a Duel's End Darth Vader. So I think that's pretty good as far as the scale goes. So yeah, that's going to be it for the review, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. If you enjoyed the review, please like and subscribe. And I'll see y'all in the next video. This has been your boy, BioSpider 3.0. Peace out. Thanks for watching.